UFC Fight Night Macau, Jan versus Figueiredo. I'm going to be breaking down the entire main card. My name's Yap MMA. If you haven't watched before, drop a like, hit that subscribe button, and let's get straight into this main card. Starting off the main card, we've got Zhang Mingyang versus Ozzy Diaz. Zhang Mingyang is 1-0 in the UFC. He won his last fight by knockout against Tuco Tokos, and Ozzy Diaz is coming off of a couple wins in the LIA promotion. He lost in the Dana White Contender Series, got flatlined by Piper, and he looked pretty bad in that fight. But he's coming off of a couple knockout wins, and they're putting him up against Zhang Mingyang. I think the UFC needed a guy to put up against Zhang Mingyang. He's from China, and this fight is in China, so they needed somebody to come in. And I honestly think Zhang Mingyang's gonna get this one done pretty easily. Ozzy Diaz isn't bad, but he's just like one of those guys that is just like fat, skinny, lightweight. Like not lightweight, light heavyweight. It's kind of like he's got a weird build. He leaves his hands down pretty often, and I think he's gonna get caught pretty bad in this fight. I think Zhang Mingyang has pretty good striking and very good power, to be honest. He's coming off of a 10-fight win streak. He hasn't lost in 4 years. He's looked great. He looked great in his last fight, and he's looked great throughout his past 10 fights. I think he's going to keep going. They're trying to hype somebody up from China because they don't have too many Chinese prospects. In the men's divisions at least. We're going to get into a woman's prospect in China soon. She's on this card as well. I think Zhang Mingyang has way, way better power and striking. I don't think Diaz has good defense, honestly. He keeps his hands down a bit, and he doesn't have the range to catch Zhang Mingyang in this fight. I don't think he will. So I'm going to have to go Zhang Mingyang by TKO. I think he's going to get it done in the first or second. We've got back-to-back light heavyweight bouts on the main card, which is pretty fun. And I think Zhang Mingyang could be a potential Chinese prospect to look out for. Obviously, light heavyweight is pretty stacked, but we'll see what happens. I think Ozzy Diaz is a pretty easy win for him, though. He kind of like a Tuco Tokos Part 2, to be honest. They look a little bit similar, so I don't know if the UFC was trying to go for something there, but I think Zhang Mingyang is going to get this one done pretty easy. This first fight, we got Volkan Oezdemir versus Carlos Ulberg in the next matchup, light heavyweight as well. This is a very fun fight. This has potential, future title implications. Whichever one of you guys wins is probably going to get a top 5 opponent next. I think Carlos Ulberg, he's great. He's only lost one fight in the UFC. He lost to Kennedy. Kennedy. I think in his second fight in the UFC by knockout. He left his hands down. He got caught pretty bad. But that was a while ago. He's riding on a pretty good win streak right now. And I think he's fast. He's a really fast light heavyweight. I do like Volkan Oezdemir, and this could go either way. Volkan just flatlined, what's his name? Johnny Walker. But let's be honest, who hasn't flatlined Johnny Walker? He has, what Johnny Walker has? He doesn't have the best KO power in the UFC. He has the best KO'd power in the UFC. Like he gets KO'd, and it makes the opponent look amazing. That KO by Volkan was nasty stuff. Caught him with a right hook, dropped him, and then Johnny Walker was just looking at the sky and then Volkan hit him with an uppercut while he was on the ground, just completely flattened him out. I do like Volkan. He's got a lot of power, but I don't think he has the speed to be able to strike with Carlos. I think Carlos Ulberg is one of the fastest light heavyweights. When I think of the fastest light heavyweights, I think Carlos Ulberg, obviously, Carlos Ulberg. I think Rakic is super fast. I know Rakic hasn't been doing great, and I don't think he really deserves to be in the top 5. I think he should be down below, maybe even lower than the top 10. But, you got Rakic super fast. Carlos Ulberg is up there. He's super fast in light heavyweight. And obviously, you've got Alex Pereira, probably the fastest light heavyweight. But I think Carlos Ulberg is just really well-rounded. He's able to strike on the feet. He's able to bring it to the ground and get submissions, which Volkan really can't do. Volkan can't do that. And I think if this fight stays on the feet, I also think Carlos got the advantage, to be honest. Unless Volkan can really land one of those strong punches. I just don't think he's technical. When he was fighting Johnny Walker, he just had him up against the fence. He was just winging big shots, and Carlos is not going to eat those like uh what's his name? Oh my god, holy moly! Like the guy that Volkan just fought did. So I don't think Ulberg is going to take too many punches from Volkan. I think he's going to be able to dodge them, and I think he's going to be able to strike back and land the better punches. He's more accurate. He's more technical. Volkan just has some power, um, but Carlos is way more well-rounded. So I'm going to go Carlos Ulberg, probably by decision. To be honest, I don't see him knocking out Volkan or submitting Volkan, uh, but I do see him getting that decision. Pretty dominant decision, I would say. I think he's going to have the striking numbers a lot higher, and maybe even take him down and get some ground time. Some domination on the ground. So I think Carlos Ulberg by decision, and he should get moved up into the rankings. I'd love to see him fight a top 5 guy. Eventually maybe get a title shot. He's very very fun contender. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But yeah, also if you guys are wondering why I'm not covering the entire card, um, let's just scroll down and look at these fun fights. I mean, what are we doing here, UFC? Like I know you're trying to get some Chinese fighters, but this just shows like the lack of Chinese fighters they have in the UFC. These are all road to the UFC guys. Most of them are road to the UFC guys. Only guys that I actually know down here: Carlos Fernandes. I've watched the fight of Carlos Fernandes. Nicholas Motta. I've watched a couple of his fights. I don't know any of these other guys seriously, or girls. If road to the UFC, or they're coming off out of different promotions, and I can't give you guys a prediction if I don't, even if I watch tape. I can't trust the picks here if I was to give you guys picks. So I'm just staying away from the prelims. But the main card's pretty good, and I think I've got some pretty good predictions for this main card. Nonetheless, we're going to move on to the next fight, which is Wang Cong versus Gabriella Fernandes. Like I was saying, Wang Cong is a good Chinese prospect for the women's flyweight. She's very entertaining. What she did at her last fight at the weigh-ins was a little bit cringy at first. I was like, what is she doing with this Joker cosplay, pointing the gun at what was her name, the girl that she fought. I was like, what is she doing, right? Like, she better back this up, and she backed it up. Oh my, she backed it up. Um, she destroyed her opponent. One punch knockout, nasty stuff, and she backed up. That kind of cringe pre-fight face-off thing that she pulled. But we'll see. Is she gonna dress up as a Joker again? Because she dressed up as a Joker last time. I was like, what is she doing? But she kind of made it work. She kind of made it work because she had a nasty knockout. We'll see if she can carry that hype. She's definitely hyped up. Huge favorite here. Huge favorite against Gabriella Fernandes, who's coming off of a win as well, but a split decision win. Her UFC career has been a little rough. Fernandes has had 2 back-to-back decision losses in her first fights, and then she just got the decision win, but it was by split, and it was really close. But she's a lot taller than Wang Kong's last opponent. She's big. She is a big flyweight, and she could have some power. So we'll see how it goes. Wang Kong has not really been tested in the wrestling. I don't think Wang Kong has very good wrestling, and Gabriella Fernandes might be able to expose her in that route. But I do think I'm gonna ride the hype train. I do think Wang Kong has nice, crisp striking. I think she's got very crisp striking for the women's flyweight the division, and I think she's gonna piece up Gabrielle Fernandez on the feet. She's gonna get the decision. I don't think she's gonna get the knockout, to be honest. I think she is gonna get the decision. But I think it's gonna be a pretty solid decision. She is in China as well. I think it's gonna lean her way. So we'll go decision Wang Kong, and we'll see if she can move it up in the flyweight and maybe get ranked at some point. Moving on to the next fight, we got welterweight bout of Kenan versus Muslim Salikhov. This one's interesting because Muslim Salikhov is a 40-year-old welterweight. I didn't think he was that old. I checked right before filming this, and I was like, damn, Muslim's 40 years old, fighting in welterweight. I don't know, man. I don't like Muslim's last win was a split, and it was really close. It was a pretty close split. and I really don't think this fight is gonna be like a knockout by Muslim Salikhov. I think this is gonna be a really close fight. I think it's gonna be a really close fight. This is probably the biggest 50-50 fight on the main card, I would say. The odds don't suggest that. Oh, where are they? Muslim Salikhov's a pretty decent favorite. But Song Kenan, man, I don't know if you guys remember, but Song Kenan almost knocked out Ian Gary. Super close to knocking out Ian Gary. Hit him with a nice right, freaking spun his head backwards and dropped him and almost finished him. Song Kenan's got power. He doesn't have the best technique. He's just very he's an unpredictable fighter. Like you can't really trust this guy. Like when you're betting on him, you can't be like, oh, this guy's got it, because it could be a 50-50. Like he beat Ricky Glenn, but he didn't beat Ricky Glenn. Like if you're gonna fight Ricky Glenn, you need to destroy Ricky Glenn. Like what are you doing? All right, if you're not destroying Ricky Glenn, what are you doing? But Song Kanon's got a couple decent wins, but he's just a 50-50. Same with Muslim Salikhov, man. Same with Muslim Salikhov. I think he got finished by Randy Brown, which is an okay fight to lose. But Muslim Salikhov used to be like kind of a prospect, to be honest. He used to be kind of a prospect. He's lost a few times in the past years, and I think age might be catching up to him. I don't completely think he deserved that split win that he just got. So this one's really close, and I think Song Kenan could get it done. To be honest, I think he could pull off the upset. I think this is gonna be a striking match for sure, and I'm pretty sure Song Kenan has the better hands. Muslim Salikhov isn't that fast. He's got power. Don't get me wrong. He's got power. So it really depends whether Song Kenan can keep his hands up, keep moving for the entire 15 minutes. But I think this will end in a finish, and I think it will end in a finish by Song Kenan. So I'm going to be going Song Kenan by knockout. I think Muslim Salikhov, the age is caught up to him. I don't think he has the ability to strike as well as he used to. He used to be really good striking. Now, he's been getting pieced up recently. He hasn't won. He won his last fight, but that's out of like 4. I think he's been losing lost like 2 or 3 in a row, and that last fight he just didn't look great. So I'm gonna go Song Kenan by knockout, maybe decision, but I think it's gonna end in a finish. Moving on to the co-main event of the evening, or should I say morning. This is a weird card, man. I don't know if I'm gonna wake up at 6 a.m. to watch this card. But I do want to watch this final fight. Jan versus Figgy is going to be a banger for sure, and it has title implications, so definitely going to have to wake up for that one. But we got Jan Xiaonan versus Tabatha Ricci. Pretty entertaining fight, honestly. Pretty entertaining strawweight bout. Definitely title implications. Tabatha Ricci, if she wins this fight, she's going to get a title shot. She's going to get a title shot against oh my goodness, Zhang Weili. Sorry. But yeah, Yan Xiaonan just lost to Weili, and it was a good fight, man. That was a good UFC 300 fight. Really, really good fight. Yan almost got subbed in what was it, the second or third round. She was completely out. When the round ended, she had to get lifted up, and I think they gave her some smelling salts or something to wake her up. Crazy stuff in that fight, and she also almost knocked out Zhang Weili. And I think it was in the second she almost knocked her out, and then she got pretty much subbed at the end of that round, or it was the third or something. But that was a banger. Really close fight. Yan Xiaonan, very technical striker. She's really good on the feet. She's knocked out. Who did she knock out again? She knocked out. Oh my God, the Brazilian girl. I forget her name. Let me see. Oh yeah, Andrade. She knocked out Andrade. Got the title shot. She also beat Mackenzie Dern. Very good wins, honestly. I think Yan Xiaonan is very good on the feet, and I don't know if Tabatha Ricci is going to be able to strike with her. She's got the height advantage, she's got the reach advantage, and she's got power. She's got power to be able to knock Andrade out. She's got good power. She's got great timing. Tabatha Ricci, though, she has been really lucky with decisions, and you got to take that into account. Something to do with the judges. Maybe they just like Ricci, or they think maybe they're a little bit biased. Maybe they're trying to boost her up to get that title shot, because I know Dana White loves Tabatha Ricci. And he loves her boyfriend, the boxing guy. I don't even know his name. I don't know why Dana White loves that dude in boxing. Weird stuff, but they do seem to love Tabatha Ricci, and they do seem to want to see her get a title shot. So you have to take that into account. She's coming off that win to Angela Hill, where I genuinely thought Angela Hill won. Angela Hill had I think every single round she was up in the striking by a decent margin. But Tabatha Ricci was pushing the pace the whole fight. So they gave her that, and she got some takedowns. But I don't know. Tabatha Ricci she always seems to get some suspicious decisions. And pretty sure this fight's a 3-rounder. I could see Tabatha Ricci coming away with this one. She doesn't have the better striking, but she's just sneaky with things she does. She's sneaky with her takedowns. She's always coming forward. She's always pressing forward. And if she does get caught, she eats it. Like, I don't know. This is a really close fight. I think I'm going to go with Tabatha Ricci by decision. But I could see this going to a split decision, honestly. This is going to be a really close one. I would like to see Yan Xiaonan win. I think she's very good. And, she is Chinese. So we'll see how the judges score this fight. But I don't know. Tabatha Ricci just has some suspicious decisions, and she does get away with a lot of things. So I think she could steal this win from Yan Xiaonan. So I'm going to go Tabatha Ricci by decision. Moving on to the final fight of the main card, the main event of the evening or the morning, whichever one, wherever you are watching this. We got Petr Yan versus Deiveson Figueiredo. This is a banger. This is a good fight. It's a really, really good fight. I don't know who's got Petr Yan at 5'7". This guy is definitely 5'5". These guys are the same height. Pretty much the same build. Petr Yan, Deiveson Figueiredo. This fight should stay on the feet, to be honest. And if it does, I think Petr Yan's got the advantage. We all know how great of a striker Petr Yan is. He's just, he's unlucky with his reach. But in this fight, pretty even reach. This is a very favorable matchup for Yan if he can keep it on the feet and keep the scrambles going, which I think he will be able to do because he didn't get subbed by Sterling. And Sterling, I think, has a lot better BJJ than Deiveson Figueiredo. And even if Figgy does get it to the ground, I don't think he's going to be able to keep Petr Yan down. He's not bigger than Yan, and these guys are about the same height. I just don't see Deiveson Figueiredo keeping him on the ground, being able to dominate him on the ground like he's done to Cody Garbrandt, like he's done to some of these guys. But he did knock down Chito Vera. First knockdown of Chito Vera's career. So I do think Figgy's got power, but I don't think he's a better striker than Yan. And I would love to see Yan get this win. I think most people would love to see Yan get this win, but honestly, either got one of these guys getting the win could potentially line them up for a title shot. Obviously, you've got Merab as champ, and you've got Nurmagomedov's probably going to fight him next. So these guys would probably need one more fight to get the title shot. But we'll see. We'll see how this plays out. I don't know who I'm gonna pick, honestly. This is a lot of these fights are pretty close, like in my perspective at least, because like I see both these guys and they both have good striking, they both have great power, but I think if it stays on the feet, Petr Yan's gonna take it over. If this was a 3-rounder, I think Figgy would have a better chance at winning. He'd get a couple takedowns, get some ground time, and I think he would be able to get the decision. But 5-rounder against Petr Yan gets better as the rounds go on, honestly. And his striking just becomes more crisp as the rounds go on. He's coming off of that win over Song Yadong, where he did had a dominant performance, dominant decision over Song Yadong. And I think he's going to be able to do that to Deiveson Figueiredo. I do like Figgy, but I just don't think he's going to be able to strike with Petr Yan for very long, and I don't think he's going to be able to hold him down on the ground. So the pick is going to be Petr Yan. I don't think this is going to end in a finish, honestly. I do see both these guys going the full 5 rounds. So I think I'm going to go Petr Yan by decision. I don't see him finishing Deiveson Figueiredo. So that's the whole main card for you boys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, drop a sub, leave a comment of who you guys think is going to win this main event. It's going to be really fun. I hope you guys are able to wake up early and catch it. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.